Hello. Oh. So this is a mavoi. Okay, that's Rishus Harabim. It's like an alley, and this is a chutzner with three houses, chutzner with three houses, chutzner with three houses. So for people to be able to carry from these houses into the chutzner, they have to have an eruv chatzeros. For all these people to carry into the mavoi, all these people have to make a shituf mavuos. Our question is, if the knife was in the mavoi, can you carry it in the mavoi itself? And we have.
Is the mavoi closed or it's open?
Remember, the mavoi is closed on three sides. It's open into the Rishus Harabim here. Here it's closed. It could be completely closed, or it could be a chutzner with batim there. That's a mavoi she'ena mafulish. A mavoi mafulish is a through and through mavoi. So that's not what you can't make an eruv on such a thing. The only time you can make an eruv here is if all of these people make a shituf mavuos and you put a lechi or a kore, a cross beam across here as a hecker that people will recognize that, oh, they're about hitting the Rishus Harabim, you should stop. In that situation, you can carry within the mavoi. Now, we were dealing with something different. We're on Kuf Lamed Aleph, 131. In order for a mavoi to be able to be carried in it, you have to have both batim and chatzeros emptying into it. Now, in a case where the chatzeros, all of these chatzeros, each one of them made an eruv together. So basically the chutzner becomes like a bias. Because now everyone in their own bias can walk outside into the chutzner. It becomes like one bias, and therefore there's no chatzeros and batim. There's only batim. Hacha batim ika, chatzeros leka. So it's really weird. It's converse. The fact that the chatzeros and the batim made an eruv with each other, that, according to Rab, would make it more difficult to carry in the mavoi, because it doesn't really qualify as a mavoi anymore, because it only has batim opening into it, not chatzeros for batim. So based on that, says the more kilo irvu nami. So let's say there had not been eruv chatzeros done, and these people did not make an eruv with each other, and these people cannot carry from their bayit into the chutzner. So lechzinu lahane batim kiman destimudam. So it's as if the houses, there's no access for the houses to go anywhere. So the Gemara sees the houses as if they're stopped up. And therefore you have only chatzeros eko batim leka. And again, it doesn't fulfill the criteria of Rav, who said that in order to be called a mavu, you have to have chatzeros and batim opening up into it. Says the Gemara, Efsher de mevatile reshuso de lakula gabechad. There is another mechanism, not an eruv chatzeros, that's called bittul reshus. Each person can be mevatel there, you can do that even on Shabbos. Each person can mevatel their reshus to this other person in the chutzner, and now you can carry from the batim to the chatzeros. Again, sof bayis eka batim, sof bayis eka. So now what's happened is you've created one house, because everybody in the mavoi has been mevatel the reshus to one person. So this whole area becomes like one bias. So then you only have a bias, you don't have batim. It says the Gemara, Efsher de mitzafer bad pagad yom legavichad. and mipagadi yom alupanya l'gabi chad. So maybe what they'll do is when Shabbos comes in, everybody will be mevatel the reshus to Chaim Yankel, and then Shabbos afternoon they'll be mevatel reshus to the other guy. So for half of the Shabbos, it's considered the bias of Chaim Yankel, and the other half of Shabbos is considered the bias of somebody else. And now you have batim. Says the Gemara sof sof, ve'idna de isalahai lesalahai. But it's not batim at any one time. It's when it's owned by Chaim Yankel, it's a bias, and when it's owned by the other guy, it's only a bias, not batim. So it doesn't solve our problem. Omer Vashi, mi gorm l'chatzeros sheyei asru. Who caused the chatzeros to be prohibited in the first place? Batim. The houses that are there. Now, according to Reb Shimon, you don't have batim. Because he said, Reb Shimon was echad gagos, ve'echad karpevos, ve'echad chatzeros, kulam shusachad leina kalim. So therefore, according to Reb Shimon, there's no batim, so there's no isser in the mavui. That's why, if there's a knife in the mavui, you could carry in the knife in the mavui. Okay. Amar Rav Barav Amar Rav Yochanan. Lo lakol Amar Rav Eliezer machshir mitzvah doichnas Shabbos. We learn in our Mishnah that Rav Eliezer held that it just wasn't the act of cutting the foreskin that was doichnas Shabbos, but anything that you needed to do to prepare. You had to cook water, you had to chop down trees, you had to sharpen the knife. All of those malachas were doichnas Shabbos. So the Gemara now says, don't think that Rabbi Eliezer holds the same by other mitzvahs. He only holds this by Mila. And where's the proof? Sharesh alechem. So the korban of Shavuos is you have to bring shtei kvasim and you have to bake shtei lechem. And you wave the kvasim, you wave the lechem. That's the mitzvah of the day of Shavuos. Sharesh lechem chovas hayomein v'lo lomden Rabbi Eliezer lemigzer shavah. Now, if Rabbi Eliezer holds in general that by all mitzvahs, the machshirei of the mitzvah doichnas Shabbos, he would have understood that the various things about doing the l'shtei alechem, like baking it and kneading it and everything else, could also violate Shabbos without any special limud. But it seems like Rabbi Eliezer needed a gzeira shava. Now, if he needed a gzeira shava, must be he only holds by Mila, the general concept that machshirei Mila are doichnas Shabbos, but not by other mitzvahs. The Tanya of Eliezer Oimer. How do I know that even any preparatory step to bake the shtei alechem on Shabbos, you can violate Shabbos? He learns it out from the following. Nemra hava ba'oimer. It says the concept of hevesem by the oimer. And Nemra hava b'shtei alechem. It says also the same concept, vehevesem, by the shtei alechem. Ma'ava oimer, when you bring the oimer machshirin doichnas Shabbos, there, any of the acts for the oimer is doichnas Shabbos. You're allowed to even harvest the oimer on Shabbos. So this Gzeir Shava from Oimer teaches me that the Shtei Lechem, the Machshirim. Now, if therefore this concept of Machshirim mitzvah is only by Mila, not by other mitzvahs. As a side note, the Gemara makes sure to make us understand that this Gzeir Shava is mufni. That it's that the words vehevesem are free and clear, not necessary for something else on both sides of this equation, both by the Oimer and both by the Shtei Lechem. The Ilom Mufni, because if you did not have a free and clear Gzeir Shav on both sides, Ikla Mifrach, you could have used logic to break it, to say, Mala Oimer Shekenin Motza Kotzer Koitzer. By the Shtei Lechem, let's say you come and you see that there's barley already cut. Doesn't make a difference. You can still cut new ones. Because it says, Uktsartem. The goof of the mitzvah is the Ketzira. But that's not so by the Shtei Lechem. She'im Matzah Kotzer Eina Kotzer. Let's say you find cut wheat on Shavuos, which is a Shabbos. So there you're not allowed to cut new wheat. You have to use the wheat that was cut. So you see there's a difference between Oimer and Shtei Lechem. So Lai Afnui Mufni. So in fact, it is a free and clear Gzeir Shav. And therefore, even though I have a logic statement to undo it, we learn the Gzeir Shava. Where do we see that it's Mufne? Because it says Vavesem es Omer, Reishis Tzerchem Elakohen. So why does it say Biyom Aviachem Esa Omer Lamali Shma Mino Lafnuyi? So it's free and clear. Now Aviachem, the Avesem, is superfluous, so it's needed for the Gzeir Shav. Fine. Akadi Mufta Mitzadechadu. Shamin Lein Rabbi Yezer Dama Mufta Mitzadechad Lemeidim Meshivim. But that's only free and clear on one side. You have to show me that it's free and clear on both sides, because Rabbi Yezer says that a Gzeir Shava that is only mufta on one side can still be knocked out of the box by a logical construct. And for the Gemara Taviyu, it says by the Shtei Lechem Taviyu. Mimoshvo Seichem Taviyu Lechem Trufo Shtayim Shtei Asronim Solas Tiena. This is an extra Taviyu. We already said, bring it. Ribuyahu, it's a special ribuy to say that it's mufne, and therefore we learn Gzeir Shava from Oimer, and it's not a general rule that Rabbi Yezer holds Machshirei Mitzvah are Doicha Shabbos. It's only by me. Now, when the Mishnah said, Klal, it says, Klal Omer Rabbi Eliezer. Kol Mlocha Shef Shel Tzos B'Erev Shabbos, Ein Adoch Zeh Shabbos. Oh, I'm sorry. When Rabbi Yochanan said, Lo Lakol Omer Rabbi Eliezer Machshir Mitzvah Doich Shabbos, what was he referring to? So, Ilay Melamute Lulav, to tell me that it's Lulav, the Machshirei of Lulav are not Doich Shabbos. Frank, the Gemara Vatanya, Lulav v'chol Machshir Doich Shabbos, to Rabbi Yezer. Rabbi Yezer says that not only shaking the Lulav, but even if you have to carry the Lulav, even if you have to cut the Lulav down off the palm tree on Shabbos, you could do it. So, El Alamute Sukkah. Must be that it's by Sukkah that he says Machshirei Sukkah are not Doich Shabbos. Afraid to Gemara Vatanya Sukkah v'chol Machshirei Doich Shabbos to Rabbi Yezer. Rabbi Yezer says that the preparation steps for Sukkah are also Doich Shabbos. El Alamute Matzah. Maybe the statement of Rabbi Yochanan comes to exclude Matzah, that's where Rabbi Yezer says the Machshirei Matzah are not Doich Shabbos. Vatanya Matzah v'chol Machshirei Doich Shabbos, Rabbi Yezer. If for some reason you didn't bake your matzahs yet, you could bake on Shabbos. And you could grind on Shabbos the wheat and do all the malachas that you needed. Elalamute shoifer. Maybe it comes to exclude shoifer, that machshirei shoifer are not doicha Shabbos. Vatanya shoifer v'chol machshir of doicha Shabbos. Rabbi Eliezer holds that the machshirim of shoifer are doicha Shabbos. Oravada barav lamute tzitzis letaliso umezuzu lepischo. That if you did not apply tzitzis to your beged or mezuzah to your house, and all of a sudden it's Shabbos, and you realize you didn't do it, you're not allowed to do it on Shabbos. Tanya Namahachi, there's a brayso of Shavin that the Chachamim and Rabbi Eliezer agree. You're going to be chayiv chatas because you're not permitted to do these things, even though they're machshirei mitzvah. My time, why is this different? Rav Yosef lefi she'en kavu aleim zman. So, if you have a beged that doesn't have tzitzis, so you know what? Don't wear that beged today. You'll wear it tomorrow, and you put the tzitzis on tomorrow, or mezuzah. You have 30 days to put a mezuzah up. Now? If it's milah, so that's that day. It has to be done that day. Lulav has to be done that day. Shoifer has to be done that day. Matzah has to be done that day. So these things that are time bound, he gives you the permission to do them. It's just the opposite. So there's a chiyuv every minute for you to do those mitzvahs of tefillin, of mezuzah or tzitzis. He could be mafkir his house. He could be mafkir his beged. Then it's not his anymore, and then the choiva is not on him. He can't do that by mitzvahs that are chiyuve of the gavra. Right? You have a requirement of shaking the lulav or eating matzah. You can't be mafkir. You can't get rid of that obligation, or building this, or sitting in the sukkah, or doing the milah. Here you could mafkir these objects because the mitzvah is on an object, and if you mafkir the object, you're not chayiv in it anymore. Omer Mar. We said lulav v'chol machshir of doichen Shabbos. Div Rabbi Eliezer. Menolin Rabbi Eliezer ha. Where did Rabbi Eliezer get that you can be doicha Shabbos to prepare the lulav? So maybe you'll tell me, may omer shtei alechem. We already had a gzeir shava that those mitzvahs, the machshirim, are doicha Shabbos. So you can't learn from omer shtei alechem shekain tzarach gavoa. The omer and shtei alechem are korbanos. Lulav is not korbanos. Elo omer kro bayom rishon. It says, "Ulekachtem lachem bayom rishon prietz adar kapos tmarim." Bayom afilu b'Shabbos means even Shabbos. Now ulamai hilchasa. What halacha did the Torah say bayom? What is it trying to override? Ilay melatiltul. Are you talking about muktzah? That you're not allowed because it's a dvar muktzah or to care, right? Because of muktzah? When it's krol and mishrei tiltul. I mean, muktzah is rabbinic. The muktzah came along a lot later. I don't need a pasuk to be mater muktzah. Ela l'machshira. We mean chopping down the palm tree to make the lulav. Okay. So the Gemara learns. So Rabbi Eliezer learns it from a pasuk. So what is the Rabbanon who learned that machshirei lulav are not doicha Shabbos? What do they do with bayom? That you shake the lulav at night, not at night, only in the daytime. So where does Rabbi Eliezer learn that din? Bayom v'lo b'layla minolei. Nafkele mi usmachtem lifnei Hashem lokechem shivas yomim. Yomim v'lo leilos. That the simcha involved with shaking the lulav is yomim v'lo leilos. Now, the Rabbanon need this pasuk for something else. It's just shivas yomim misukah. Because the mitzvah of simcha is only yomim, not leilos. And the Rabbanim needed it because otherwise we could have made a gzeir shova shivas yomim misukah. Malahol yomim afilu leilos. You have a mitzvah sukkah even at night. You got to sleep in the sukkah. Afkan yomim afilu leilos. I might think that mitzvah simchas yontif is day and night. Says the Gemara, says the Chachamim, no, it's only in the day. It's only a day. Kamash Malon, it's only a day. Freit Gemara v'lichtav rachmana b'lulav.
Ernie, is that the halacha because you make a shechianu on the night? You don't make a shechianu on the day.
No, but
the shechianu on the lulav in the morning. But on the
shechianu is not made on simchas yontif. It's made for the yontif itself. You have a separate mitzvah simcha, which we're makayim ein simcha l'babasar v'yayim. So the din is you don't really have to have simcha at night. Now it says ach is to be marbe the simcha of at night. I think by Yom Hashmini, by Shmini Atzeres. But here the limud is simcha. And the kiddush is the shechianu you're making is on the fact that there's mekadosh yontif. That yontif comes once a year, and we make the shechianu attached to but it's not also simcha. But leishe b'sukkah you do say at night because the mitzvah is at night. Freit gemar v'lichtav rachmana b'lulav. Why didn't the Torah write this concept by lulav, and we would have learned everything from lulav? Lulav is a different mitzvah; it requires 4 meaning. Maybe that's why you get the rishus to do it even on Shabbos. But other mitzvahs, no, so we don't learn it from lulav. Then it said sukkah v'chol machshira doich Shabbos di Rabbi Yezer. He said that if you hadn't built your sukkah and Shabbos comes around, that year's first day of Sukkah is Shabbos, you're allowed to chop down trees and do whatever you have to do to build a sukkah, even on Shabbos. But no, in Rabbi Yezer, does he learn it from Omer Shtei Lechem? No. Omer Shtei Lechem is korbanos. Sukkah is not. Lulav, we already taught by Lulav, Shekain Ton Arba Minim. No. Lulav is special because it's Arba Minim. Maybe Sukkah, no. Elo Gomar Shivas Yomim Milulav. It's a Gzera Shava, Shivas Yomim, Shivas Yomim. Malahala Machshiv Doich Shabbos, just by Lulav, preparatory steps for Lulav is Doich Shabbos. Avkanami Machshiv Doich Shabbos. So we learn Sukkah from Lulav regarding Machshirim, according to Rabbi Yezer. Freit Gemara v'lichtav rachmana b'sukkah v'neisa chanech v'nigmarinei. So why didn't the Torah write only by Sukkah? We would have learned everything else from Sukkah. Because all the other dinim, oimer, shtei alechem, they're not at night. They're only in the day. And all the lulav is only in the day. So you couldn't learn it from Sukkah because Sukkah is noig day and night. Then it says matzah v'chol machshirei adorchim l'sar Shabbos di Rabbi Yezer. That if the first day of Pesach came around and it was Shabbos, and you didn't have matzah, you could harvest the wheat, you could grind the wheat, you could do all the Isra Malachos on Shabbos to prepare the matzah. How do we know? Can't. Those are korbanos. Lulav has a special stringency of Arba Minim. Sukkah can't be Shkein Noeges Balelus Kaviyomim. And it's not clear that matzah is Noeg day and night. Ela Gomer Chamisha Asher B'Chag HaSukkos. So we learn two. Malahal Machshir Adorch Shabbos. We learn Sukkah and all the various Machshirim Adorch Shabbos. Avkan Machshir Adorch Shabbos. Why did the Torah write it by matzah? We could have learned everything else there. Oh, women are chayiv in matzah, even though it's a mitzvah saseh shazman grama, because it says lo tochal chametz shivas yomim tochal lav matzos lechem. The pasuk connects the lav of chametz to the asay of matzah, and women are chayiv in all the lavim. It's because of that smichus by matzah. That's the only reason that they're mechuyev in eating matzah, because it's a mitzvah. But they're not mechuyev by lulav. They're not mechuyev by sukkah. They're not mechuyev by all these other mitzvahs that are mitzvahs as man grama, because there's no special connection. The other example I would quote here, we know women are also chayiv in kiddush on Shabbos, because shomer v'zachar b'dibur echad. Shomer refers to the lavim, zachar refers to the mitzvahs of saying, including kiddush. So madach women are mechuyev in the lavim of Shabbos, so they're mechuyev in the mitzvah of schira, which is kiddush. So that's a similar limud here. Then it says shoifer v'chol machshir of doiches Shabbos to Rabbi Yezer. Let's say you didn't have Shabbos was Rosh Hashanah. You could violate any deraisa that you needed for shofar. Shofar is not a kodshim. Can't learn it from lulav. Blowing shofar is only daytime. And shofar is only by men, because mitzvah says man grama. Our women perform all these mitzvahs because we have a shita that women can volunteer to do a mitzvah saseh. Not the Sfardim don't hold of that. According to the Sfardim, Shulchan Aruch Paskin, they can't make a bracha on mitzvah lulav or mitzvah shofar or any of these mitzvahs that say that they're allowed to participate because they make a mitzvah. We Ashkenazim hold that they can volunteer to do them and say Asher Kiddushah mitzvahs of Tzivanu, even though they're not mitzvah. And shofar is the same. So where did Rabbi Yezer learn that the machshirei shofar are doiches Shabbos? Ela Omar Kro Yom Trua Yelachem, Bayom Afilu B'Shabbos. Ulamai. What are we talking about that they can do something? We're talking about blowing. Well, blowing is not a malacha. Aton ve'ishmol kom lechos avoda lo sasu. Yatzat kia shofar uridias hapas she chachma ve'em malacha. These are chachmas, not malacha. Uridias hapas is when you take the pita off the wall of the oven with a spatula. That's not a malacha. It's a chachma. Same thing, blowing a shofar is a malacha. Chachma, not a malacha. So what is it coming to be matir l'machshirin? That means if you have to drive a car, you have to cut off the horn from the animal, which is an isser d'oraisa for Shabbos. Okay, the Rabbanon, what do they do with this bayom? Hahu maboyle bayom v'lo balayma. That shofar bluesing is only in the day, not at night. How does Rabbi Yezer, who uses yom to tell me that machshire v'chol shofar v'chol machshire doiches Shabbos, how does he know bayom v'lo balayla minolei? Nafkelei mi b'yom kippurim taviu shofar b'chol artzachem. In the parsha of Yovel, so they also blew the shofar. It says, "Vavarta shofar tua b'chodesh hashvi'i b'asor lachodesh b'yom kippurim taviu shofar b'chol artzachem." That all the avodim went free on the blowing of the shofar. And from that yom, that says Yom Kippurim, he learns out the din that it's Bayom v'gam b'Shabbos. So now the Gemara says, okay, let's learn all the other ones from this din by shofar. So mitkiya shofar the Rosh Hashanah lekalim mikmar sheken machneset zichron shlisur lavim shem shamayim. You know what? You can't learn to matzah and sukkah and lulav and all these other dinim because the shofar is something special. It's machnis, the memories of Yisrael to their father in heaven. That was also special blowing because at that time the avodim went free and the lands went back to their original owners. Therefore, since it's a unique kind of mitzvah, you can't learn it to the other mitzvahs. So now we get to the index subject, which is the one that our Masechta is talking about, that the act of Mila is Doicha Shabbos, even the Machshireh. Minole Rabbi Yezer Ha. How does Rabbi Yezer know this? Imi Kulu Gomar. Did he learn it from all these other ones? No, Kedamrinon. We learn that each one has an aspect to them that would prevent you from learning through a Mamatzinu, through a Ma'atzara Shabbat to these other mitzvos, from these other mitzvos, because each one has its own special uniqueness. Oimer and Shtelachem is Kodshim. Lulav, we said, is Arba Minim. Sukkah, we said, is Yom V'Layla. Matzah is Anoshim V'Anoshim. So you can't learn it from any of the other mitzvahs. The Od, Mala'anach, she came in over Zmana Botla. By those other ones, so for example, first day of Rosh Hashanah comes by and you don't blow shofar. What about tomorrow? That's it. There's only chi of one day. Same thing with matzah. You don't eat matzah the first day. That's it. You don't shake lulav the first day. That's the chi of. It's of our zman, of our battle, but it's not the same by Mila. If you didn't do Mila on the 8th day, there's still a chiyuv to do it the next day. So you couldn't learn it from the other ones. So the Gemara is going to say, we're going to learn a post. Okay, that's for tomorrow. So and Rabbi Eliezer de Mila is really a beautiful parak in Masechta Shabbos. It's very the sugyas are very clean.